What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Heart Over Height episode. Today, we're going to be discussing some young NBA players that are going to break out in this next upcoming season. So if you do enjoy this content, do me a huge favor. Smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below on your NBA prospect that's going to break out in this next season. Let's have a discussion in the comments. So without further ado, let's get right on into this. So, it's pretty self-explanatory. First guy up here, we have Jonathan Kuminga. I think Kuminga is on par for possible most improved player, as he went out and started saying, he went on to the podium and he said that he is requesting a trade for the Warriors and everything. This was back last season because he wasn't getting playing time, and he deserved playing time. And he is someone who came in from the G League and everything, and he's been doing his thing ever since he came up to the podium and said that. Also, fun fact, if a player has a terrible hairline, they are destined to be a decent player in the NBA, i.e. Jonathan Kuminga. So yeah, he's a versatile wing and everything like that, a guy who is looked to as kind of a combo wing where he can do a little bit of everything. I like him a lot. I was hoping that he would end up being traded from the Warriors just so that he could go into a new space that wasn't Steve Kerr as the head coach, and he could flourish in a different offense, i.e. I was liking the idea of him going to Utah for the Lauri Markkanen package, or even like Brooklyn or someone like that, or joining a more a young group like the Hornets or Detroit would be interesting because they're a young led team that he needs to go to. Next up here, Trey Murphy III. Now, I think a lot of this has to do with him if Brandon Ingram is traded. Yes, I think that he deserves all the green light in the world to go and ball out this year. He's just being held back by the fact that Brandon Ingram is on the roster. He's a 3-and-D kind of guy. He's going to shoot the ball really well from three. He also he's a high-fly athletic player. He's a guy that a lot of teams are going to be looking at. He has a mold of like a Derrick Jones Jr.-esque, except he shoots better from the three ball, as you can see, 38%. But yeah, you see after March 1st here, it just shows like 46, 41, 84 shooting split. That's pretty solid on 18 points a game. That's phenomenal. That's something that we all look for in a wing-type player. Next up here, this one's pretty obvious. It is Victor Wembanyama, a guy who in Vegas has him top 10 in MVP voting. They've got him number 1 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He's a guy who is going to be better because last year his roster was so poor around him. The shot selection should be better. He was literally given the green light to take every shot if he wanted. Now that they've gotten guys like Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, Devin Vassell another year, Stephon Castle rookie, it's going to be giving him a lot of help so that he doesn't necessarily need to try and do it all himself. And we know exactly what Chris Paul can do with a younger roster, i.e. his time in Oklahoma City, where they ended up making the playoffs and it wasn't expected at all. So I'm excited to see the San Antonio Spurs roster this year. Should be an exciting team to watch. Next up here, we do have Josh Giddey and the Chicago Bulls. Now, this one is about 50-50. I think that he's got a better shot here to perform than Oklahoma City, just because Oklahoma City had so many bodies. They were a team that they had a plethora of first-round draft picks. They had a plethora of players that were just evolving, and he didn't necessarily fit the offense and the timeline that they were going for. It's okay to need a little bit more time to develop. He is just someone that needed that time and needed to go to a new place with that new organization. With Chicago, he's going to be playing alongside guys like Kobe White, who is going to be a ball-dominant player but willing to give up the ball, as well as other guys like Matas Buzelis, who's that young rookie that I think will pair along nicely with Josh Giddey as someone needs to throw him lobs. Then, of course, you still have Zach LaVine on the roster. Who knows exactly what kind of Zach LaVine we're going to be getting this year, whether it is a possible top 10 shooting guard in the NBA or an injury-prone guy who's not really going to be playing. It depends on how Zach LaVine checks into this season. I think that, honestly, it's probably going to be one of those years that Zach LaVine is more going to be going towards just looking to get traded, looking to get moved off of and everything like that. And that's where someone like Josh Giddey can excel. And then you have even more backup depth you can see what's up with Patrick Williams. Of course, you gave him the bag and everything, so you're expecting a decent jump out of him. And also Ayo Dosunmu. Ayo Dosunmu is the kind of guy that, he's been playing well. Possible 6th man of the year candidate right there. And you still have Vucevic on the roster also. So for the time being, there's some solid pieces on the Chicago Bulls roster that just need a little bit of help there in order to flourish a little bit. And I think Josh Giddey's skill set with his passing and everything and what he showcased for Australia can really help this roster long term. So last but not least, we do have Jabari Smith Jr. He and Jonathan Kuminga, in my opinion, on this entire list are the two guys that are going to take the biggest jumps. Jabari Smith Jr. is the kind of player that's going, and he is honestly just looking at, he's taking a big leap already. As in, like, year 1, I wasn't too impressed. Year 2, he's been performing better and everything. This year 3, I think, is going to be phenomenal for him, as he's a very nice, versatile defender. He can guard, multiple positions, 2 through 4, sometimes the one position. Sometimes, if he puts a little more meat on his bones, he'll be able to match more up with some of those bigs. But Jabari Smith, I like him a lot, and I like him in this offense a lot. I wish what I want from him is to attack the basket a little bit more, go get his own shot a little bit more, and then the playmaking just going up. But you look at other honorable mentions on this list. Honestly, Houston's got a couple. It's Jabari. I think Amen Thompson. I think of Cam Whitmore. Now, Cam Whitmore, the defensive side just needs to improve a little bit. He's got the body skill and body style to be a better defender. It's just, will he put it together? And then Reed Shepherd, I think, when you think of breakout, like, obviously he hasn't had his rookie season, but I think he could, pop off a lot because of his shooting and everything that he has been capable of doing. I think of another guy like Cam Thomas could be on this list as well with the Brooklyn Nets. He's someone that there's not too much going on in Brooklyn right now. They are trying to tank. They are going to attempt what the Wizards wanted to do with Jordan Poole the first year he was over in Washington. I think Jordan Poole's another guy too that could be on this breakout list of a player that you look at that just he should be better this next season because he's had a year in the system and everything. I also think Cade Cunningham is a deserving name on this list. This list could be 20 people long, honestly. Cade Cunningham is the kind of guy that needs spacing, and what he was able to do with receiving double teams pretty much every play down the court with such a poor roster around him, with poor shooting roster, I should say. That just hurt him negatively, but he still was able to put up decent numbers. I'm expecting out of Cade Cunningham an all-star caliber season, especially being in the East, where the Eastern talent, there's, a lot of names, of course, in the East that can make an all-star team. I just expect Cade's name to be in that conversation at least. So, and then we'll say one last guy. I think Austin Reeves could flourish a little bit and utilize the fact that they didn't make any moves in the offseason. The fact that they were, and you know what? Screw it. I'm going to throw out Bronny James. Bronny James is the kind of player that is getting so much hate, and he was a second-round pick. Like, we need to ease up on Bronny James, but I've been seeing him working out with Darius Garland and his trainers and everything like that. I've been seeing he looks like he's put on some muscle already. He's an intelligent basketball player, of course. He's also an athletic guy, 6'2"-ish. He's a decent defender, of course. Now, can the offensive game flourish? And I think that with a year or two, he will be there as a solid, maybe backup. Could be a possible starting, almost like a Tyus Jones-esque player. But, all right, guys, so if you did enjoy this video, do me a huge favor. Smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Comment down below on what player that I just listed do you expect a big jump out of. So it's been another Heart Over Height episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.